Here it is, the brand spanking 2018 Volkswagen Golf.
No, it isn't.
It starts from around $24,000, and with its sharp, mature styling, it transcends the my little sister's first car stigma of a hatchback for the city.
Kurt, that's not a Golf.
What are you talking about? It's a Polo. Here it is, the brand spanking 2018 Volkswagen Polo. It starts from around $18,000, and with its sharp and mature styling, it transcends the my little sister's first car stigma to a point where, well, you might actually confuse it for something else. Volkswagen's master design strategy seems to be that if you're onto a good thing, flog it like a Melbourne Cup contender. But while it might look like a Golf, this doppelganger Polo isn't actually identical to the current Big Brother hatchback. The new Polo has a lot of creases in the body lines, more detail in the wheel arches and slimmer C-pillars. Of course, this 6th generation Polo is smaller than today's Golf 7.5, if roughly the same size as one from yesteryear. It's a clever design too, with a long wheelbase to afford maximum cabin space, but it's short and stubby in the front and in the rear, and that's where we're heading first. There's 351 litres of boot space, a sizable 25% up on the old car, and, you guessed it, on par with the last generation Golf. And that's with a full-size spare wheel too, whereas so many class competitors use space savers and repair kits. I think the blokes with the pocket pens and the lab coats need to come up with another term other than compact, because it's really selling the Polo's rear space short. Sure, you can only fit 2 adults across the back seat in comfort, but there's so much head and knee room in there that the Polo can finally be considered genuinely spacious. There are no rear air vents, naughty naughty, but there's a lot of glass area, so the kids won't feel like they need to sit there and go, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Here's a hot tip for rival compact car makers. Classy austerity rules. Fact is, a lot of young first car buyers want to be treated like adults. And a great many older shoppers looking for a city car also want to be treated like adults. And those who don't probably wear strong aftershave and drive Nissan Silvias with big wings. It's a no-brainer trick. Volkswagen's smaller and more affordable cars tend to have a broader appeal to more buyers because the company invests in design maturity and upmarket tactility in the right places. Not in brightly coloured seatbelts, garish inlays or flamboyantly funky dash designs. Unless you're French. The French car makers can get away with it. You get nice tactile switchgear, soft materials on the touch points, and clear instruments for older buyers whose eyesight isn't quite what it used to be. It's not all lap of luxury on Budget Street. It's a bit of hard plastic. In fact, there's an awful lot of it. There's slick glassy touchscreen infotainment with Apple and Android phone mirroring for those who otherwise spend their non-driving time buried deep in slick glassy Apple and Android devices. There's no encyclopedic equipment list, but this mid-spec Comfortline really does cover most runabout bases. You get low-speed autonomous emergency braking, Bluetooth phone and audio streaming, a reversing camera and parking sensors, cruise control, auto headlights and windscreen wipers, a leather-trimmed wheel and decent cloth trim. There's an old joke amongst V8 lovers that says the only things that should come in 2 litres is milk and orange juice. But this Polo makes do with half of that for its 3-cylinder motivation. This is the 85 TSI 3-banger, producing 85 kilowatts and 200 newton meters. A sort of high-powered version, if you can call it that, of the 70 kilowatt engine fitted to the base Polo. It's a sweet little engine with a seductive 3-pot rasp that really encourages you to dig in and treat every trip to the supermarket like it's a Monaco qualifier. But fear not, hand-wringers, it's not a hot hatch. In fact, this Polo is actually slower than the old version, and at a leisurely 9.5 seconds to triple-figure speeds, you're hardly high-rolling with your driver's licence. On balloon-like 15-inch tyres, it rides really nicely without having to resort to expensive suspension trickery. This allows a reasonably firm suspension tune, so the handling's quite crisp, it points really well, and it's quite a hoot to punt around the urban jungle. While you can slip into the new Polo from around 18 grand, this high-spec Comfortline version with its self-shifting 7-speed gearbox sits closer to 22 grand before the government and insurers lunge for your hip pocket. call it around 25 grand on the road. You do have to fork out an extra $1,400 for the driver assistance package, which gets adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, and rear cross traffic alert. But it does include the rather pointless parking assist, which steers the car into a parking space for you. Frankly, if you can't park a city car in the city, then it's time to trade your license in for a bus pass. All up, a Polo with all the fruit like this one is still hundreds of dollars more affordable than a bare-boned Golf hatchback, a car where you have to change gears yourself. Would you have a conventional manual? Well, sales of city cars suggest that only about 3 of you would. Would we recommend Polo on its own merits? Absolutely. Should you buy a bare-boned Golf when you can have an all-you-can-eat Polo for your urban indulgence? That is a test for another day.